Hi there, thanks for checking out our channel. This is just going to be a testing video basically on this old unit. This is an old Dyna Charge 909. This is a solid state. This thing's probably got to be 35, 40 years old, maybe older at least. Solid state was a kind of an in-between unit or style of unit when low impedance was coming around. The old Wii burners were kind of getting unpopular. Solid state kind of came along to try to bridge that gap between low impedance stuff that Gallagher was bringing here to the States back in the 70s and 80s, and what was currently out there with the weed burners and this stuff. These solid state units are really good units when they run, but they don't have that reserve power. It can handle a lot of stress that low impedance stuff can handle. These things usually, now there's good and bad with them. When they're working, they'll shoot a spark this big out of them. So anything anywhere close to it, it'll shoot a spark across and bite them in the nose, and the animal goes hauling ass the other direction. Now the bad thing is, if you get much of any short on there, it just drags the unit down and it can't handle the stress. So a multi-wire fence or a single wire fence that's pretty clean with not much vegetation on there, it'll run right through it and shock all day long. So that's the good and the bad. So if you get much shorts on there, it just about dogs thing out. The only thing I could not fix on here was this bulb here is burnt out. It's got kind of a bayonet housing, they call it. I just can't seem to find one small enough like this. I imagine if I looked hard enough, I could have found one, but I didn't look. I looked at the local store. They had bayonet mounted bulb, but they're the size of your thumb and way too big. It wouldn't fit in the little mounting area where this goes. So unfortunately, unit works just fine minus the light doesn't flash. So it does click, it pulses, all that fun stuff, but it doesn't have any light doesn't flash because the bulb's burnt out. So well, let's get into this thing and I'll show you that it's working. If this is old metal casing, it's all rusted and stuff and on there, but it's a good unit. I mean, it works great. So I'm gonna loosen this up just a little so I can get my wire on there, and then we'll power it on here. This is a 110, 120 volt unit. And it puts out, I would say, at least 10,000 volts. I mean, these things hit really hard, but they don't have that reserve power. The snap out of them is not real loud. The spark that jumps from it is not real bright, not real big, because like I said, they don't have the capacitive, well, they have a capacitive discharge, but not like the low impedance stuff like the later, the late 70s, 80s Gallagher stuff, and what's out there now by most brands now that are out that don't make solid state. There might be one or two small little units made by Zariba or somebody that makes or Fi-Shock to make a solid state unit, but they're real small. They're little dinky things. But most everything else out there is low impedance. That just kind of, you could run miles of fence, hundreds and 200, 300, 500 acres or more on some of them big ones. So, and they have that reserve power to fight through loads a lot better. So I'll show you the spark this thing jumps, and hopefully it'll come through real good. I might just zoom in here in a minute and so you can get a real close look at the spark that it jumps. And there was a lot of units back in the day that used to make solid state units. I mean, another brand that was out there was called International. International might have made this unit. I don't know. Oops. International might have made this unit. Just private labeled it for Dyna Charge, or maybe they were same company owned them or whatever. But so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab onto the ground here with this clamp, and I'm going to run this at this long wire, but I'm going to get real close to the hot terminal, and you'll see the spark that it jumps. And I might zoom in if I have to, just so you can see. It's not real bright spark, but it is probably pushing. I'm going to grab it with a pair of needle nose. I don't want to get bit with the insulation by chance. But it probably shoots an inch and a half spark out of it. see what it does here in the video based on how. Let me take this knob off so we can see the bolt and how far away we are. It may not be as big of a gap on the spark as I thought. Oh, I thought it was bigger than what it was, but it's probably pushing 3/4 of an inch, probably. Maybe 1/2 inch, I don't know. But you see how strong those things are. So you think an animal's walking around and, you know, gets ready to sniff the fence or rears its rear end up to the fence just to get maybe wants to get a nice scratch on its butt going on the post there. You know, as soon as it gets close enough, it doesn't have to touch it. As soon as it gets close enough, that thing's going to shoot a spark and bite them. So, like these old solid state units, when they work, man, they work really well. They just, they can handle the load like a low impedance one does. But the other, and I didn't think about this until I talked to a guy that owned one of these things or something similar. What's nice about it is if you're out at the fence, like I need to fix this problem at the fence, you can actually short this unit out. Say your fence is running around. Let me zoom out again. Say your fence is running around. Just say this red thing is your fence wire, and you know, say the current's flowing this direction. Say you got a problem over here. If you put a short like right back, say back here, just dead short the fence out, and say this wasn't connected, say it's just a big long run and stops over here, but doesn't connect over here. So the fence goes all the way around and stops right here. If you got a bad short over here, or you've got a broken wire, or a broken bad insulator, or something, and say on the low impedance ones, you short the fence out, you have to short them out hard to be able to kill the fence, but there's usually still some power running there. On these low impedance ones, as soon as you dead short it, say you dead short it back here, the rest of this is dead. So you can work on this fence all you want, pull the short off there, and boom, the rest of it's live again. So that's that's the other good thing about it. That's what that one guy said. He said, well, I was old one, I could dead short it, fix my fence, and then undead short it, and it would go back to working again. So, you know, that's what's, you know, I guess the nice thing about it. You have to run all the way back and unplug it, you know, fix your problem, plug it back in again. So that's the other kind of a good thing of these things. But hopefully, you know, you like the video and a little educational, I guess, on the thing. But if you got an old Dyna Charge 909 or, you know, any old solid state electric fencer or whatever, you know, we'll take a look at it. You know, we give free quotes. We don't charge you anything for looking at them. And then we, you know, put a 1.5 year repair warranty in all the repairs that we do on a unit, and that includes lightning damage. So our website is fencerfixer.com. Fencer and fencer spelled like this, and then fixer is spelled with F and IXER. So fencerfixer.com. There's a little deal down in the description tab you can copy and paste or click on. It takes you to our website. You can see our you know, address and where to ship it to, and we work on, you know, multiple brands of units, and I don't care what it is. If it's this old stuff like this that's 50 years old or older, or if it was made, you know, yesterday, we'll tinker on them. We don't discriminate against any brand. We have our favorites that we like to work on, but we, you know, these old ones are still pretty cool. You know, it's neat to work on the old stuff and, you know, work on them, get them going again and such. But if you've got you know, any questions or something, give us a call. You can shoot me a text at my number, which is on the website as well, and shoot a text over there. But until we do another video of how to fix something, we will see you later.